I don't believe in goodbyes, I believe in adventures. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe in exploring our universe.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Kimono Club. I am Diya SenGupta, your host and founder of LoveTheAlchemist.com. I am a certified holistic nutritionist and the host of Liquid Alchemy podcast out wherever podcasts are found. Kimono Club is a great way to unlock the doors to your personal power right from the comfort of your own home, in a robe, in a kimono, in your pajamas, whatever you want to do. And it's very important that we leave all judgments at the door when we come into this special space of Kimono Club, because wellness looks differently for everyone. We all have baggage. We all have some form of toxic patterning, and to pretend that we don't is a huge disservice, not only to ourselves, but also to the people around us. Because when we acknowledge issues that we have in our lives, we are able to work on them, heal them, grow, and expand in ways that we maybe couldn't even imagine. So I want you today to take a seat, get somewhere comfortable, grab a cup of tea, and we will get started. In today's episode of Kimono Club, we are talking about how to deal with insecurity and lack of direction within ourselves. These two things really stem from not knowing ourselves and what we want, and that is a lie that we are telling ourselves. When we feel confused, it's because there's too much noise and maybe there are too many cooks in the kitchen, or we don't know how to process our emotions, or we're used to an unhealthy dynamic and we just can't seem to break free or to embrace a healthy dynamic because it threatens us. It threatens the way we bond with people, and we think that if we embrace something healthier, we might lose out on all connection entirely because we're rewiring our identities and our subconscious, and that is no small task. So there are 3 things that are easy and simple that you can do right now. The first thing is to know that your identity and who you are does not come from external things. It doesn't come from other people. It doesn't come from what you have or what you don't have. Your identity is just who you are as a human being. The great thing about having a personal identity is that it can grow, it can expand, we can become more conscious. And when we're conscious of what we are bringing to the table, we are able to have our actions, our words, and our values all working in harmony together. And that is truly how you build a meaningful and successful life where you are constantly growing and strengthening yourself, because psychology shows that personal growth equals happiness. So if you are not working on yourself, you will feel stagnant, you will feel stuck, you will feel like you don't know what to do. So the first thing that you can do when it comes to mapping out your personal identity and really allowing yourself to understand it is to think of people in the world that inspire you, people that really make you feel motivated. In the mornings when I'm starting my day, this is just a little example, I will watch a history video from a channel called Weird History, and I'll learn about a leader, or I will learn about some cultural phenomenon that happened centuries ago, and having more of a base to learn about history, storytelling, and how we are just these creatures. Our lives are a blip and we need to make them count. And the only way to make them count is to make sure that we are showing up and giving our lives our all. And if you want to give your life your all, you have to address the fact that you independently stand alone. And when you are strong alone, you can show up to relationships, you can show up to friendships, you can show up to your work and any area of your life as a whole, complete person, and you can have healthy connection. So after you identify a few things that inspire you and consistently inspire you, I want you to write down why they inspire you. What qualities do those people, characters, you can do book characters, what do they bring to the table that makes you excited about life? And how can you bring more of that energy into your life right now? And what qualities that they exhibit that you like do you already have? It's really important to identify what we already have so that we're focusing on building, especially when it comes to personal identity. When you're feeling lost, you want to build upon your strengths. You want to lean into who you are today and what you have right now so that you can continue to build from a place of gratitude and stability rather than a place of lack and chasing. When you build from a place where you are thinking you have to build this because you're lacking it, you're not filling a void, you're creating more of a void in your life, and you're actually limiting the way that you show up when you are building a friendship or building a business or just simply expanding your life in one way or another. You're always going to feel like what's going on with you right now is not enough, and it's very, very, very important to acknowledge that you yourself right now, no matter who you are, no matter what you think of your life, you have an identity. It is powerful and it is meaningful. And the more you lean into the different facets of yourself, the more you can realize that bad moods, bad attitudes, lack of follow through, anything that you feel is getting in your way, maybe bad friendships, bad relationships, those things are actually in many ways in your control. And we will talk about that now when we talk about step 2. So step 2 for finding and refining and leaning into your true identity is to acknowledge that we create everything in our lives. And sometimes that can sound really ambiguous and it's easy to get overwhelmed. So don't be hard on yourself when you feel lost or you feel confused. Instead, break your life down into chunks. I like to look at the chakra system because every chakra has a different tie into your personal life, into your emotional life, into your habits, and it allows you to really address key areas where you might have some blind spots. So the best thing to do when you're feeling stuck and lost is to look at the 7 chakras and sit with yourself with the list of the qualities that you admire to the left, and then to the right have a fresh piece of paper and look at the first chakra, home, stability, finances. What can you do to bring those qualities that you like into that area of home, stability, finances, resources, inner resources, being grounded, being present in the physical world? What can you do to elevate yourself into a place of greater stability that works with you and harmonizes with you rather than having something that is just stagnant? Because the goal here is not to create stagnation in being clear about what your identity is. It's to allow you to know what your values are and who you are in the world and what you stand for and what you want to bring not only to your own life but to other people. And so when you look at life from that perspective, you'll be able to be in a place of greater flow. And when you are in flow, things move, things feel more easy, they feel more fun, they feel more joyful, and that is the sweet nectar of life. I mean, there's no other way to say it. That is what makes life enjoyable and worth living and worth growing and being disciplined and being true to who you are in every area of your life. So that's the first chakra. I'm going to run through the other 7 chakras very quickly, and I invite you to head to my website, lovethealchemist.com, type in chakras into the search bar, and you will find tons of articles about the different chakras and how to reconnect with each one. I have recipes that connect to each chakra. I have meditations, and there are a lot of resources there for you. So I want you to know that they're there whenever you feel like taking a look. So the second chakra is a place of creativity, appetites, and really looking into how do you create joy, because we all have the ability to create, but we need a stable foundation to be able to create from a place of strength rather than from a place of lack, codependency, and neediness. So creativity, appetites, sexuality, these are all things that are related to the second chakra. The third chakra is all about your personal power, your self-esteem, the way you view yourself and the way you feel others may view you. It's your sense of self. It's what brings you the most light in your life. It's what lights you up and makes you feel confident. For some of you, these chakras are going to be very related, and you might find that when you're meditating or looking into your self-worth and self-esteem, it might be tied to another area of your life, like your finances or like your intellectual capacity for some. And maybe just have a conversation with yourself at another time, but pay attention to which chakras feel more connected to each other than others, and it will give you clues on how to unblock your life. So the heart chakra is all about universal love, self-love, feeling like you are connected with the oneness in everyone, and really just being connected to the nature of who you are. Human beings, when they are tuned in to their natural state, are very, very loving. And when you are not feeling loving, it's because you're not paying enough attention to yourself. And there are studies that show when you are feeling judgmental and just very not happy for other people and just kind of blocked, I'm saying blocked in your heart chakra. This study did not say blocked in your heart chakra, but you get the gist. When you feel that way, it's because you're neglecting yourself and what it is you need. So your heart will tell you what it is that you need in order to feel balanced and loving. It's at the center. So it's combining what you've learned from finances, from creativity, from what brings you joy in life and your self-esteem, and then it connects up into the more cosmic, lighthearted, airy energies of the throat chakra and the third eye chakra and the seventh chakra, the crown chakra. So the heart chakra is a gateway where a lot of things merge together, and that's why it's very important to keep your heart chakra clean. And it's very important to meditate in any way that feels good to you, maybe journaling, maybe thinking about it as you go on a run. Think about what it is that's in your heart and how you can be more heart-centered, because when you do that and you shift from I to we, you start to look at the world differently. You start to have bigger ideas. You start to think more creatively. You start to show up in a way that actually builds stronger connections, whether it's just a great conversation with someone when you're in line for coffee or at the grocery store, or really building something passionate and meaningful with a friend or romantic partner or family member. Everything matters. And you shouldn't downplay things in your life because it creates complacency. And that brings us to your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is your center of personal truth. It is communicating what it is you have in your mind, what it is you have in your heart, what it is you want to create. It's a way for you to breathe life into what it is that you want to be, say, do, and share. Your throat chakra is meant to be something that is active and that actually helps you have a calm life. Because if you are not speaking your truth, if you are not communicating, then there's no calm energy that's going to be within you. That's where anxiety manifests. It's where stress comes up, or not being seen or heard, and it throws our entire system off balance. So make sure that you're at least talking to yourself through journaling, or even just voice recording things that are important to you that you want to do in this lifetime. And make sure that you are really talking about what it is you see yourself doing, and just breathing life into it will help boost your identity. So moving on to the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is all about your spiritual sight, but it's also about pulling in those spiritual downloads and bringing them into your everyday world, and really being able to see things from fresh perspectives. So if you are feeling lost, if you are feeling like you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, then just know that you really need to focus on your spiritual sight and opening up your mind to the idea that the sky is the limit, because we live in an infinite, abundant, prosperous world. We live in a universe with stars and galaxies, and when we take the time to invite in a new perspective, and we allow ourselves to see things from new viewpoints, then we suddenly are able to speak and communicate more clearly about what it is that we are wanting to do. We are able to envision our home in a new way. We are able to bring something exciting to our relationships and to ourselves. So when you are connecting with the universe at large, it's important that you set an intention of what you would like to do or what you would like to see. And if you are feeling lost, set the intention that you would like to see what it is that you can do in this lifetime that will allow you to bring growth and harmony and improvement into the world. All of the chakras relate to different organs and body parts, so just look into it on your own time and know that these different categories of foundation and creativity and appetites, self-worth and self-confidence, being heart-centered, being loving, speaking your truth, seeing things from fresh perspectives, and expanding your knowledge base. These are all areas that you can compare the list to of qualities you admire, that you find inspiring, and write down different things that you can do. For example, one of my favorite characters is Alice in Wonderland. And what I love most is that she is learning by experiencing life. And she's having these crazy ups, these crazy downs, and that is how she builds knowledge. So for me, it is very important when I'm looking at knowledge to have an element of that Alice in Wonderland curiosity so that I feel expansive. Okay, and now for step number 3 of how to get unstuck and lean into your true identity is to understand that darkness is part of life. And just because your life may metaphorically be dark, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, just know that you are the one who brings light into your life, not through external things, but by embodying these qualities that inspire you. Because when you are inspired and you feel excited about life, there is a light that turns on inside of you, and I know you know what I'm talking about. You just feel like you could do anything and there is so much potential, and that is what you need to harness and embrace and build in your life. If you are not doing things that make you feel inspired and joyful and like you are the best version of anything you can be, then you will not be a good friend. You will not be a good romantic partner. You will not be a great coworker. You're not going to be killing it at your job because you're going to be coming in with stagnation. And people who know themselves and who are in harmony with themselves and their life path and their life journey, they are not stagnant. That being said, if you do know yourself more or less, be open to the idea that your identity will change over time. We don't have the same organs in the same bodies. They actually regenerate for most organs every 7 years. And so every 7 years, you might go through a very big life shift because the cells you had years ago actually are not even in your body anymore. So you're made up of totally different things, which is exciting because it means that if you had a bad diet before, you can totally change everything about yourself and your life. But it's also sometimes scary to let go of outdated stories, and that's what happens when you feel lost. You thought you were on one path or you lost the roadmap. But the great thing is life is all about taking chances. It is all about just exploring. And I recommend that even if you're stumbling, you focus on the things that you are doing well and have compassion with yourself about why you may be stumbling and what is it that you are benefiting from that is causing you to embrace the feeling of being lost. It might be fear of acceptance. It might be, it could be a number of things. It just depends on you yourself. But the one thing you need to protect yourself against is insecurity, because it is a disease. It is literally a disease that just siphons off your personal power. It makes you show up as a smaller human being with less to offer, and you have so much to give. We all do. And when you really embrace that you have so much to give and other people have a lot to give as well, and then you open the door to know that you don't need to take anything personally. You can explore, and if something bad happens, then go back to those qualities that inspire you. Don't rely on other people for safety and security or for emotional fulfillment. You are the master of your own life. And the more you master yourself, the better your life will be in every arena. So many wise people have said, if you master your emotions, you master your money. And that's a great example of the way in which our emotional lives rule our external lives, and what we see in our bank accounts, in our schedules, in everything. And insecurity will really damage you long term. It will stop you from going after the things that will bring you the most joy. And also, it's kind of like a contagious mindset where when you are around someone who is deeply insecure, suddenly you start to question yourself too, because our brains are hardwired to lean into fear. It's something that we have hardwired into us because it's how we survived in the wild when we were ancient cavemen, and it hasn't really seemed to go away because it's what keeps us alive. And that fear, it has a time, it has a place, but it's more important to say, hello fear, I actually am going to just lean into my inspiration and lean into my light. And the more you lean into your own personal light, the more joyful and expansive and incredible you will become. And I just want to seal this video off by saying that it's very important when you are feeling lost that you tie something to the physical world that reminds you that you are beautiful, you are expansive, and you have this intention to be an extraordinary version of yourself and that you can do it, and you've already opened the door. All you have to do is walk through. And walking through may seem like the scariest part because you're like, I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know what greatness really is. And that's normal. Just make sure that you have something, a necklace, a bracelet, or maybe it's some sort of lucky keychain, or maybe it's even a crystal that you keep next to your bed. Do something where every time you look at this thing, you are reminded that you are expansive, you are protected, and you have every right to be curious and explore and enjoy your life. A lot of us are waiting for someone to say that we have permission to enjoy our lives, and that's just so ridiculous. And that is the message in today's episode of Kimono Club. No one needs to give you permission to have fun and enjoy your life. You can do it all on your own, and doing it on your own allows you to be a better friend. So, hope that was helpful. This is Diya SenGupta from LoveTheAlchemist.com. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, and follow me on Instagram for inspirational content that comes out daily. I love comments. I love to hear about what you're looking for. So do not be a stranger. I love you guys.